What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about a guide for Stardust in Pokemon Go. I'm going to briefly discuss all of the ways that you can currently gain Stardust in Pokemon Go. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to be providing tips to maximize the amount of Stardust that you can gain in the game. In my opinion, Stardust is more important than experience, so you want to make sure that you are doing all that you can to get as much as possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. The first item that we need to talk about is an item known as the Star Piece, because it will be referenced multiple times throughout this video. A Star Piece is an item that will work in 30-minute durations and will increase the amount of Stardust by 50%, so that's going to be 1.5 times higher than the original amount. It is very important to use this item wisely though, because it is not as easily obtainable as other items are in the game. In the shop, you will not see a Star Piece listed. The only way that you can currently get it is through sale boxes. Because of this, it is important to use effectively. I would recommend large bulk sessions with increased spawn rates, such as a community day. So let's go ahead and get into the different sources of how to gain Stardust in the game. The first one is going to be catching Pokemon. So when we're talking about catching Pokemon, there has been a little bit of an update to what existed last year, and that's going to be the introduction of the weather boosted catches. So beyond that, the Stardust from catches, you're going to have 100 Stardust for the base level Pokemon, 300 Stardust for the second evolution, 500 for the third evolution, and then surprisingly, Chimecho is going to have a 1000 base Stardust rate. Beyond that, there are going to be streaks associated to catching Pokemon, and that's going to be a 600 Stardust for each daily catch bonus, and then 3000 Stardust for the 7-day weekly catch bonus. So make sure that you are hitting all of your streaks. I also have all of these stats to show what it would look like with a weather boosted catch. A second method for earning Stardust is from hatching eggs. This is unfortunately something that can get fairly expensive, so I have not exactly taken advantage of this topic. But hatching eggs is a great way to gain a ton of Stardust. Just take a look at these ranges and see for yourself. If you are curious about the best egg for your Stardust, that's going to be a tie between the 5km egg and the 10km egg on a per kilometer basis. Avoid the 7km eggs by not opening gifts until you get your egg slots full for the best Stardust to distance ratio. From my research, it seems as though the Stardust range for the 7km egg is the same as the 5km egg, which does seem off. Keep an eye out for it though to see if Niantic updates this in the future. There seems to be very few findings on the different websites pertaining to this topic. The third method for obtaining Stardust is from gyms. This definitely gets undervalued sometimes in Pokemon Go. Instead of throwing away your berries, if you can, I would recommend burying Pokemon in a gym that your Pokemon holds. The timer resets every 30 minutes, so you can gain quite a bit off of feeding for Stardust, which is going to be 20 per berry. The second way of gaining Stardust through the gym system is actually going to be by completing raids. With a nice bonus for completing raids, you can get quite a bit of Stardust in no time. The next two features are the newest ways of gaining Stardust in Pokemon Go, and I have to say that they are a welcomed addition. The first is related to research tasks. I treasure these more than very rare Pokemon from the different researches, simply for the fact that it is a great way to stack up on Stardust. Since we can throw away research tasks, you can specifically focus on completing Stardust quests. There are even special quests that will give out even more Stardust to you. I did save this point for last, however, because it is not always available. It's going to be a one-time thing, such as a Mew quest or a Celebi quest, for example. But either way, a single completion will reward you big time. The second newest feature is by opening gifts. When Stardust from gifts was introduced into the game, this became yet another source for players to obtain Stardust. It is currently possible to get up to 300 Stardust from a single gift. You can even stack a Star Piece on to get that extra boost if you see fit. Other than that, I do think it is time to go ahead and get into the best strategies. Tip number 1. Use a Star Piece to get that 1.5 times multiplier to get more Stardust when you're about to do a major grind session. Even beyond just a major grind session, try to utilize it during something like a community day, or even an event that just has an increased spawn. The more Pokemon, the more that you can catch in a short time period and use a Star Piece, you'll definitely be taking advantage of it. Tip number 2. you need to try to complete your field research tasks that are associated to Stardust. Definitely try to focus on that. Maybe throw out some other ones that you can't actually do and try to replace them with the Stardust instead. This is definitely going to add up over time. Number 3, open up the maximum amount of gifts that you can do on a daily basis. Although with this tip, you can't actually guarantee how much Stardust you will get, but just imagine if you were able to get that full 300 Stardust for all 20 gifts. This is definitely going to add up in something that you need to make sure that you are doing on a daily basis. Number 4, feed as many berries to as many Pokemon as you can in the gym. Just think about it. If 6 Pokemon are defending a gym, and you can feed each Pokemon 10 berries every 30 minutes, that means that you can do 120 berries in an hour. This is going to add up over time and is definitely going to be significant. Number 5, make sure that you try to use your free raid pass. This is going to be free Stardust if you are able to defeat the gym. Even if you do something lower level, it's going to be a little bit of a waste if you can't use it. Number 6, this is going to be a little bit more of a pay to play, but I recommend you to buy a Pokemon Go Plus. This is going to help you while you actively play, but it's also going to help in times where you passively play. Maybe you are driving through a slow neighborhood. You could just have your Pokemon Go Plus on and you'd be able to catch Pokemon when you otherwise wouldn't. This is definitely going to add up over time. Number 7. Yet another pay-to-play strategy is going to be to buy as many incubators as you possibly can, collect and hatch as many eggs as you possibly can do. It is going to be a massive amount of Stardust coming from the egg system. And although there is going to be a little bit of a range as to how much you can get, if you are getting the max number, this is something that's going to add up significantly over time. And number 8, this is going to be something that kind of encompasses everything else. And that's going to be when and if there is a Stardust event. Make the most of it. Whether it is something like a 2-time Stardust event or even a 3-times catch Stardust event, do what it takes to take advantage of it. So before we end the video, I thought it would be a really good idea to go ahead and put up a graphic on the screen talking about everything that we discussed today. So definitely feel free to take a screenshot. So this is going to just about wrap up the video. We covered quite a bit, but I do think it is important to recap everything because there have been quite a bit of changes throughout Pokemon Go in the past year. This is going to be for new players, old players, and everything in between to make sure that everything gets covered. But anyways, I actually want to go ahead and end on a question of the day, and that is, how much Stardust do you currently have in Pokemon Go? Go ahead and leave it in the comments section below, and I will see you next time.
Hit me like a tidal wave.